Hello and welcome to Fit With Us episode 42. We're well past the numbers I can count to. We're actually, in terms of people on the screen, we have the exact amount of people that I can count to because I can use my fingers for it. We have 5 guests on today. I don't even know who to start with in terms of asking how you are, but I'm going to start with Gary. Gary, how are you today?
Very well, mate. Just a quick correction. We actually have 3 guests on, Kyle.
Well, mate,
Oh,
Gary,
It doesn't seem like the fingers are working for you, mate.
there's 5 people on my screen, and I'm including myself, mate. So either it was my English, or it was terrible with my counting.
Apart from that, mate, I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good. Now, we're going to introduce our guests. We have, starting with our ladies, Shannon. We have Shannon, who has been very much on the podcast before. We have Dean, who has also been on the podcast before, making his return. And we have AJ, who's also been on one of our earliest episodes, making his return as well. How are we, guys?
Good. Fantastic.
yeah, great.
I've actually never been on a podcast for you, AJ, because the only time you were on was when you were standing in for me when I decided to sleep right through. I decided to get absolutely steaming the night before and sleep right through the episode.
Yeah. So,
I think, like, in terms of today's topic, we're probably just going to get straight into it because I think the last couple of weeks we've possibly taken things on a slightly deeper and sometimes possibly darker, albeit quite enjoyed them. I think actually today, the big thing is talking about some of the things that make us all happy, the small parts of daily life and even the bigger things that kind of make us all happy. So I think considering there's so many people on the podcast, it's probably good to actually just start going in a round table format where we'll just go one by one so that we're not shouting over each other. So, Shannon, I'm going to start with you first. I'm going to put you under a bit of pressure here. I hope, not only do I hope you've brought your notes, I hope you can read them as well, or at least you've drawn pictures. So, in terms of like, if we just start like on a day-to-day basis, what are the small things that you do on a daily basis that keeps you right, that keeps you happy?
Cup of coffee first thing in the morning.
Class.
You're like, what? I was like, cup of coffee. Quick little walk in the mornings. Loving that at the moment. It's just really refreshing to get out. First thing, crisp morning, crisp autumn morning. It's lovely.
How are we feeling about this, by the way? The temperatures definitely have dropped at the moment, but like it's
Yeah,
how are we feeling about that? Enjoying it?
all about it. Fuck the summer.
Aye, I'm happy with it as well, man. It means I can layer up. I can hide behind hoodies.
And your hats and your cozies and your fluffy pajamas.
100%.
Oh, it's great.
I actually don't mind that this time of year where it's still light enough. I think I could deal with the drop in temperatures. What I don't enjoy is just when it gets to the depths of winter and just how dark it gets for so long. I know you need to embrace the seasons, but it's not. You do get a bit sick of it when it gets to February, March, and you're like, fuck, I've not seen daylight past 5 o'clock for a while. Like, that's where it's a bit on the grimmer side. But yeah, embrace it.
Yeah. I wonder how many people follow Kyle for the weather updates and the weather rants.
I'm going to accept it. I actually find it difficult not to do that. Like,
I wonder how many people have muted Kyle because of the fucking weather updates. We have Windows, Kyle. Thanks very much.
To be fair, you'd be surprised.
Was to be a weatherman.
You'd be fucking surprised how many people don't actually look out their window. You are welcome.
At least he'd be a much better weatherman and would be teaching maths. That's the case.
Gary, my favourite podcast was
Roasting Kyle makes me happy.
There we go. What did you say, Kyle?
I said my favourite podcast was the one that you didn't turn up to. That's what makes me happy.
Right, you prick. Shannon's still talking.
Go on, Shannon.
It's my turn for the share corner.
So apart from roasting Kyle.
Apart from roasting Kyle, my first coffee of the day, a nice brisk walk in the morning. Just kind of doing me at the moment. The last few weeks I've just been kind of taking care of myself and I'm loving it. I am really enjoying it.
So go a bit deeper into what's taking care of Shannon. What do you do to take care of yourself?
Well, surprisingly, I'm reading at the moment. So fuck you, Kyle. I can read. I bought books. I am reading them.
Lots of pictures.
For anyone that doesn't know, I'm dyslexic, all right? Kyle's really mean about it. I'm going to the gym at the moment, like at my own time. Like I'm not rushing after work to get there. I'm going in and taking my sweet ass time in the gym, and it's great. It is just so lovely to just not constantly be rushing and just little things like girly things, face masks. I don't know if you do these things. I'm just assuming they're girly things. Little skincare routines, taking myself window shopping, just little things like that. And it's just given me so much joy.
Class. Love to hear that. Dean, what
Anything
makes
on a bigger scale? Sorry, diving in here. Anything on a bigger scale rather than just kind of day to day? What gives you kind of fulfillment and makes you happy? And in a bigger picture, in a bigger picture, on a bigger. How the fuck do you say that? In a bigger picture. Dean, stop laughing.
On the bigger picture? I don't know.
I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say.
I know what you're trying to say. Oh,
See,
Jesus.
I'm
Deep.
dyslexic by proxy now.
You identify as dyslexic.
Aye, so in a bigger picture, talk to us.
Friendship. I love friendship. If you haven't gathered that by now, I just love connecting with people and just spending time with people. Kyle hates it all week, every week. All I want is friendship. And he denies it, which is really mean. But I do love being around people, talking to people, just around people. My Adam makes me very happy. That's very gimpy, but he does. Yeah. Like family, like my dog, all these little things that I'm like taking for granted all the time. I'm like, what else makes me happy? Like they're just the norm to me.
Love that. Love that. Kyle, do you want to dive in with anything to add? Shall we move around the table?
Move around the table, yeah. Let's pass the cushion.
Let's get a big conversation going there. Let's get a big chat going because we've not heard from Dean or AJ yet. Who are we picking next? Dean, you've already got your mic unmuted, so we'll chat to you. AJ's hiding behind his mic.
I'll be honest with you guys, like I can kind of second what Shannon was saying. It's just really the simple things, to be honest. And like, don't get me wrong, we can absolutely go deeper, but just as I was making a little bit of notes before the podcast, I literally just done a little kind of mind map. I know that's kind of reversed or whatever. But like now that I look at it, it's like everything is just so many simple things. Like, I mean, early morning coffee, quality time with my partner, a walk in nature. Like these are all the genuine things that make me happy. I know a lot of people maybe concentrate on the try to peel back the layers and figure out what really, really makes you happy. But like, I think what really, really makes me happy is just a combination of all of those things and as many of them and in as much quantity as I can possibly get, because they're the type of things that really just refill my cup.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't get me wrong, like I'm starting to kind of venture into the world of working for myself. I'm working on my own business, and that really, really gives me a new sense of satisfaction that I've never really experienced before. Like it gives me feelings of accomplishment now where I don't get that going to my 9 to 5. It's just another thing that I have to do, another like tick that you have to, or another box that you have to tick. But I think just being able to live a little bit more in alignment with what makes you happy. Mm-hmm. And if what makes you happy is the simple things, then fuck it. You know, that's what makes you happy. I'm a simple man. Like I'm easy to please with these type of things. So yeah.
That's amazing. I think kind of the society that we live in nowadays, like people really overlook the simple things, and we see it a lot and being in the kind of health and fitness industry. Like people are always striving to be happy, and they think happiness for them is a lighter number on the scale. And they actually forget, you know, your morning coffee. They forget to get outdoors. They forget to go for a wee walk, spending time with your partner. And you know, the combination of all these wee simple things can be incredibly fulfilling. But it's always overlooked because everybody's striving for that, you know, lighter number on the scale. I need to lose weight. I need to drop a dress size, drop a belt size, and they just get really caught up in it. So I think just taking see what you've done, Dean, and make that wee map, that wee kind of spider map, whatever it's called. Like I think that would be a good task for people that listen to do, especially if you're feeling a wee bit kind of down in the dumps, and you know, summer's basically over now, so we're coming into the kind of the most depressing part of the year, shall we say. Well, I know we're still a few months away from it, but it is creeping up on us. So just taking a wee bit of time to reflect, sitting down, getting a bit of paper in front of you, and just writing down every single thing that makes you happy, and realizing that, you know, it's not as bad as what you've made it out to be in your own head. Yeah, coffee, simple morning coffee, just get outside for a bit of fresh air. Um, Something like building a fucking Lego set, just something that's going to make you happy and put a smile on your face and make you feel good in the moment, and use these to your advantage as well.
Just
What
on
it-
that one, mate. Like, I mean, when we were first going to talk about this particular topic, what makes you happy, I kind of panicked. I was like, fuck, what actually makes me happy? But like, this exercise is absolutely amazing because, like, obviously at the center is happiness, and then I have about maybe 7 or 8 branches off, you know, and then they always just branch off, and before you know it, it's like, holy shit, there's actually so many things that make me happy that I might not actually remember, or I might even forget to do. Do you know what I mean? Where it just takes a little bit of an exercise like this, a moment of reflection, to actually realize that it is just some of the simple things.
100%. Like, simplicity is absolutely key to, you know, being happy. Like, why do you want to overcomplicate your day-to-day life and look for something that might be a wee bit too far out of your reach?
And again,
Uh,
just what Shannon said, is just slowing down, I think, because we're all just in a super kind of high paced lifestyle. Um,
oh, aye,
and just
for
being able to
sure.
take a little bit of control back over that and slowing down and appreciating the smaller things has been an absolute game changer for me this past year, anyway.
Yeah, and that's a key word as well, and appreciation. Again, like when we overlook the small things, we don't appreciate what we do have right in front of us, and trying to find that kind of appreciation again is difficult to do when you're so caught up in the fucking madness of everyday life. Kyle, anything to add?
Ian, what's your favourite Lego set you've ever built?
Oh, you know, but it was asking you, Dean.
You're asking me.
Yeah, are
I've
you?
actually never built. I've actually never had a Lego set. I think the most I actually get. I used to build swords when I was a kid. I used to just basically
Wow.
stack the amount of like blocks as much as I could. Now one tip this way or this way, and it's fucking gone. But like, hey, that's me. I'm not into the big overly. It's like, what's the years? It's like 5 years plus or 6 years plus. I swear to fuck, it should be actually put up to like 30 years plus because they don't look easy.
Some of that stuff is mental. The stuff that you can build, I think, like it's like 5 or 6 to 99. What happens if you're 100? You're too old for a Lego set.
Probably don't have the grip strength anymore, mate.
Very, very true. You make a mistake and the whole build's fucked. You can't detach the two blocks. Man, you need to get into Lego, honestly. Again, the simpler things in life, but yeah, they depending on what kind of Lego sets you get, they come with a ridiculous fucking instruction book, and it can cause a lot of stress.
You're really selling this to me.
Oh, it's great, man. I've got like I because we were living with the in-laws for the best part of 2 years there, like I get Lego bought for me every Christmas, but I had nowhere to store them, so I've just got boxes and boxes of Lego waiting to be built. So I would say by about episode 100 of this podcast, this wall behind me is just going to be caked in Lego. Can't wait.
Any particular theme?
No, just whatever they think I fancy. I've got a few Star Wars things, a few Harry Potter things, a few like Lego City things where it's like camper vans and fire trucks and all that. I'm really bringing out my inner child right now, aren't I?
Love it.
The simpler things, I'm telling you, mate. Kyle.
I was about to make a joke about Rangers rebuilding their stadium with Lego at the moment, but I don't think the majority of people on here would get it, and the majority of people listening probably aren't going to. I'm not going to be their best friend, so I'm going to just pull that one back a wee bit, albeit I let it out. No, I've got nothing else to add to that. I think that was spot on. I agree with everything.
On. AJ, you want to unmute and come and chat, mate? I feel like I've not spoken to you in ages, man.
Yeah, well, that's because you just dodged me questions now when I message you.
You fucking no message me at all, you liar. Right?
Getting the phone out to check, look.
Right, talk to me. What makes you happy apart from getting on my fucking Getting on my tip.
Look, I suppose it sort of really echoes what's already been said. Sort of the simple things. Like for me, my favorite time of day is sort of in the evening between 8 and 10. Because about sort of maybe 3 or 4 months ago, I says, right, that's it. Notifications on the phone are just going off. I'm just sitting back, chilling, take the dog for a walk. He's looking at me now because I said the word walk. But like I turn off notifications for Instagram and Facebook, all that sort of stuff. I have like WhatsApp on, and the only thing that's on because that's what people contact me on if it's an emergency. And I just sit and play the PlayStation, walk the dog, chill, watch shite TV. Like I'm in the middle of watching Modern Family from the start again today, and at the minute for about 2 or 3 weeks, and it's sitting back chilling and just switching completely off. It's my favorite time of the day. That makes me happy.
Have you always had that kind of routine in place, or is that something that you've just introduced recently?
No, I've only sort of in the last 3 or 4 months said right, because I was like I'd be working a 9 to 5, then I'm coming home, sitting on the computer, doing stuff for the business, all that sort of stuff, and I was like, you know what, this is just too much. I'm not getting anything to decompress myself. So it's a strict rule now. 8 o'clock, no work happens after 8 o'clock. I sit back, watch TV, play the PlayStation, do nothing sometimes. Sometimes I sit and scroll on TikTok. It's just mind-numbing stuff, but it's a switch off, it's a disconnect from everything around it.
Yeah, that is your time, and you're well entitled to scroll for 2 hours on TikTok because that's the time that you've dedicated to yourself to do what you want to help you kind of unwind and de-stress.
It sort of helps you sort of focus as well up until 8 o'clock. You have 8 o'clock to finish, and you just work up until then, doing whatever you need to do. Some days there's more to do, some days there's not very much to do, and you get a little bit extra time. But it sort of refocuses your day, and you have that switch off period before you hit the bed.
I was actually going to ask that as well. Like, do you find yourself being more productive now that you've got that time that you've blocked out for yourself?
100%. I would like by forcing myself to use less hours, I've also forced myself to do more work and get more done. And then when you're in the flow of it, and things happen quicker then once you have that sort of deadline, for lack of a better word, of 8 o'clock.
Yeah. I think that's something that I struggle with big time, man. Like, see, if I've been given a deadline of 2 weeks to do something, I'll take 2 weeks to do it. And, things just start building up, and then before I know it, I'm completely overwhelmed. I'm getting zero time to myself in the evening. I'm spending zero time with Rachel and the dog, and it's my own fault because my time management is so poor. I'm finding myself right now, like between kind of 9:30 and 11 o'clock in the morning, just sitting doing fuck all. And then in the evenings, I'm like, oh my God, I've got all this stuff to still get done today. And it's definitely something that I need to start working on because it's no good for anybody. Just constantly feeling tired and like you've got a shit ton to do. When in reality, like there's no actually that much to do. It's just because I've left it to the last kind of 3-4 hours of the day that it seems a lot. So I might need to take your lead on that and give it a wee shot, man.
Look, it wasn't like easy. Like the temptation when you start to just go, fuck it, it's only an extra 10 minutes, it's only an extra half an hour. But if you're strict with yourself on it, the benefits are astronomical in the long term.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm very, very big on this as well with like my clients and everybody I work with online, like scheduling at least 15 to 30 minutes every single day. Like black it out in your diary and your schedule and do something that you want to do that's going to help take your mind off all the stresses from home life and from work life and stuff as well. So right now it's a case of do as I say, not as I do, but I need to start taking on advice and it's good to see that you've kind of found yourself a wee bit more productive with that as well, because I definitely think that does. In fact, no, it definitely does happen. Like the people that I've used it with in the past as well, they've actually found themselves being more productive. They actually do more during the day. They actually do more exercise as well, just by taking that kind of, we'll say 20 minutes on average. Just 20 minutes, you can meditate, you can do a wee bit of yoga, you can read a book, literally scroll on TikTok, whatever you want to do, as long as you have that dedicated time every single day. So, mate, really, really love that one. Anything else that makes you happy in the day-to-day life, or as I was saying to Shannon, on or in the bigger picture?
I suppose in terms of a bigger picture, there's nothing more satisfying for me than when you hit a long-term goal. So like, particularly if they're difficult ones that you've been working towards, because there's just that satisfaction. It's over. I've achieved something that I've never done before. And that's just, to me, that's one of the happiest times. Like the marathon for me was one of the biggest things. Like, I didn't even think on the day I was going to finish it, and when I finished it, I was like,
That's
fine.
amazing, and that's a massive goal as well. Like, for anybody that's listening that doesn't run, don't set a marathon as your first running goal. Build up to it. Start at 5K, 10K, half marathon. Go for it. But yeah, that's a huge goal, mate, and congrats for finishing it as well. The fact that you were almost kind of talking yourself down beforehand as well, saying, "Oh, you didn't even feel like you were going to finish it," and then you fucking smashed it out of the park, eh?
Yeah, and even mid race, I was like, I don't know when I'm fucking finish this. But the satisfaction when you got there, I mean, now I definitely wasn't the fastest runner in the world in terms of finishing in time, but I didn't finish past there a lot of time, which is a bonus, I suppose.
Amazing, mate.
I think it was just under the 5 hour mark, but still did it. Something I'd never thought I'd be able to do 5 years ago.
Delighted for you, man. Really, really, I'm delighted for you. Quick question before I move on to Kyle. I love how I've just taken charge of this. I thought Kyle was going to be in charge, but he's just sitting in the corner of my screen all blurry. Quick question: how is Star Wars Outlaws?
It's all right actually. It depends on what you're expecting from it.
Yeah,
Does it bring you happiness?
What?
Does it bring you happiness?
Yeah, because it actually feels like you're in Star Wars. It's better than any of the recent TV shows that put it that way.
Yes, that will go with my Star Wars Lego set, so I need to get it downloaded.
Yeah, I know. I don't think it was worth the €110 I paid for the pre-release. Yeah, no, right. Because what happened was they updated the game 2 days after the pre-release, and you have to restart the game from the start. So I lost about 4 hours of progress. Yeah.
Oh, geez.
So I haven't really picked it up since then, and that's sort of tainted it a little bit. But that aside, it's actually quite a decent game. Yeah.
Yeah, you've taken the huff with it.
Yeah.
You're waiting till they apologise before you pick it up again. Kyle.
They did give us free shit if you bought it pre-sale anyway.
Fair.
For the inconvenience of having to restart, but it was kind of like, are you fucking kidding me?
Now we are a gaming podcast from this moment on.
Happy enough with that, mate.
Kyle, you want to dive in?
I just want to ask a question in the back at to everybody, because I think it's AJ brought up an interesting point about having set working hours and possibly coming off things to decompress. Just be interested to know if anyone has set non-negotiables that they do on a daily basis of things that they don't do. And I'll give you an example. I'll start with myself on that. Is like, I don't drink caffeine past 2:00. Like, that is, it's more of a last couple of years thing, but I'll have that, or I'll possibly be, no matter what my goal is, have 10,000 steps that I have to do per day. Like, what are some of the non-negotiables that you guys set yourselves?
For me, it's no client interactions before 8 a.m. or after 8 p.m. So they have a 12-hour window where they have access to me, and I'll get back to them as soon as I can. But for me, outside those hours, it's a non-negotiable, because we need that barrier. There's no hate more than I see these coaches on Instagram 24/7 WhatsApp support. It's like, yeah, okay, I'm sure you're going to get back to someone at 3:00 in the morning on a Saturday when they ask about their kebab.
Imagine they did, though. Imagine that's part of the service. Imagine that you had a coach at 3:00 in the morning who's like, did you get garlic mayo on it or not?
Yeah, and it doesn't exist. I'm like, there's absolutely no way in hell if a client messages me at 3:00 on Saturday fucking morning would I be getting back to them about anything.
100%. Just leave them on read for the whole weekend. Dean, you want to dive in?
Yeah, so some of my non-negotiables, some of them make me happy, some of them are just part of my routine at the moment. But just touching on what you guys were talking about in relation to notifications and setting kind of boundaries up with those. I just recently set up like a do not disturb function that I didn't know existed on Instagram between the hours of 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. So that's a 12-hour block of, I just don't get any notifications. So anything that comes in, whether it be messages and comments, it just means that it's less shite and less noise for me to have to look at when I'm trying to decompress. So that's actually been a pretty good one. Because sometimes when I'm speaking for myself, venturing into this new kind of area of having to work for yourself, it can be very kind of all-consuming. And I've noticed where, you're checking the phone, you're checking notifications, you're checking to see if you got back to people's messages at probably hours that you shouldn't really be looking at your phone. So just getting a little bit more kind of strict with those type of boundaries. But other types of non-negotiables for me is one thing that I've been doing. I've been doing it pretty much solid for about a year now, which is getting up earlier than what I probably need to now. Normally, my alarm is set for 5 a.m., but I can't remember the last time I've ever had to use it because my body clock just naturally wakes up early. I don't know if it's anxiety or nerves for the day ahead. More than likely is. But typically speaking, like a 20-minute block of just breathing exercises every fucking morning. And I don't mean to bring it back to anything woo-woo, but it works for me. It just kind of helps regulate, and it just makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I'm a little bit more in control because that's the first step that I took in the morning to make sure that I put myself first.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe a second non-negotiable, which is you can take this all with a pinch of salt, pun intended, but I add salt to my water. And that's a non-negotiable that I've actually been doing for the past few months because it genuinely just, it helps my energy levels. I work in a very kind of, let's say, physically stressful environment in work where it's like extreme heat temperatures and we're wearing a lot of heavy PPE. So we sweat a lot. We're very active. And those couple of pinches of salt in my water is an absolute game changer for me, especially if I'm going to the gym afterwards and you're sweating again.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think it helps replace those electrolytes, obviously, which is the reason behind it, but it genuinely just makes me feel good. So
yeah, that's an amazing one as well. And I think for people listening too, like obviously one thing that we really kind of push on clients is water intake, and we want them to get, minimum 2.5-ish liters of water every single day. And if you're not used to that, you're going to be visiting the toilet a hell of a lot more. But if you do what Dean does, put a wee pinch of salt in, should help your body absorb that water a wee bit better and not just kind of pass straight through you like a tap. So yeah, that's a class one as well, mate. And obviously the electrolytes is very important as well.
Yeah, like word of caution on that is like start lower before you just start chucking the salt in because you don't want to be vomiting on the first or retching on the first drink. But yeah, it's literally like 2 pinches. You don't even taste it. It's not enough to taste. And yeah, just an absolute game changer from an energy standpoint for me anyway.
Amazing. Any specific type of salt? Is it rock salt, Himalayan?
Table salt.
Just any salt?
Yeah, like I don't necessarily know. I've slightly read into the research behind it, and I don't think it particularly matters. It's just the sodium that I'm after. Doesn't matter what particular color it is, but yeah, whatever suits. Whatever's kind of at arm's reach, I suppose.
Perfect. That's class one. Thank you very much for sharing that as well, and obviously bringing that point up about the salt and water because I know my personal experiences as well through dealing with clients that have had no water. They live on like diet drinks, salt fizzy stuff, and then they swap to water and they're just pissing like an absolute racehorse. We pinch the salt in, see if it makes a difference. It might not make a difference straight away, but give it time and allow your body to actually absorb the water properly instead of just, like I say, passing straight through you.
Yeah, like it's a night and day thing. I can feel when I don't have salt in my water. And I know that sounds fucking stupid, but like just try it for a couple of weeks, as you said. Just try it and it's night and day for me. I don't feel that kind of brain fog. I don't feel that kind of lethargy. I don't feel slow. So yeah, it's good.
I'm going to try it today.
My man.
Let's do it. I'll keep you updated on how it goes. I'll be spitting it out, no doubt, when I try my first sip. Do you know what it makes me think of? Back in 2010, I had salmonella and I lost a hell of a lot of weight in 2 weeks. I couldn't eat, I couldn't drink. So they were feeding me or trying to force feed me diorolite. I don't know what you guys call it over there. It's just like the salt, salty. And oh man, the most disgusting thing ever. Like you could feel it in the back of your throat. That's horrible. So that's what makes me think of like salt and water. So hopefully I have a different experience with it this time.
Yeah, we'll see. I like the diorolite, so maybe I'm just biased. So we'll see how you get on.
Maybe I just diorolite's nice. I like the diorolite.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know if it's just the feeling I get in my mouth with the high salt content, but we'll see how it goes today. I'll give it a shot. I'll maybe just try it in a glass of water before I put it in my full litre bottle.
See ya.
Yeah, or you could just literally just fucking chuck a load of salt in your mouth and just. But I wouldn't advise that. Don't do that. You can do it with the diorolite and pre-workout. Don't do it with salt.
See if you want to take away that taste a little bit, you can cut up a bit of lemon and throw it in. I tend to do that overnight, so I'll cut up a lemon, put it in water, put a bit of salt in it, and then put it in the fridge, and I'll just have it first thing in the morning. It tends to take a little bit of that salty flavour away.
Is that lemon going to help me lose fat faster as well?
Probably not as fast as Salmonella did, but yeah.
Just put apple cider vinegar in and you'll be grand.
Excellent. Kyle, I don't know if you remember, like back in the days, well, when we used to go out during our college days, but do you ever remember a tequila suicide shot?
I don't
Did you
remember
ever
many of
play
our
that
nights
thing?
out, mate. I don't really remember
Oh,
much.
Essentially, instead of a tequila slammer where you lick the salt and suck the
Oh,
lime
it's an eye.
afterwards, you snort the salt and yeah, the lime goes in the eye. So done mad shit with salt before. I should be able to handle a wee bit in my water. Shannon,
I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
it's a bit mental over here.
yeah, I don't want to go for a holiday now, Gary. We're never going to be friends in real life.
Get the old tequila suicide shots on the go. But yes, talk us through your non-negotiables, because I know you're really big on non-negotiables too, and you've seen incredible progress, not just physically but mentally as well with
Yeah, like
non-negotiables.
very much the same. Like my non-negotiables are my daily routine now. Like I'm making sure like I'm taking care of myself from the inside out by fueling my body now rather than just trying to be the smallest version of myself. I'm actually trying to be the biggest version now at the moment, which is great crack. I'm going to be a unit eventually. But walking's my big one. I make sure and I don't go for a massive walk in the daytime because I feel I'm too anxious then in the evening. I can't wind down unless I'm on an evening stroll. So I break up my walking throughout the day now. And I make sure majority of the chunk is actually more in the evening time because I just find it helps reset my mind and just get me kind of calmer going to bed. Um, and yeah, just my water intake and things like all these things that just seem so normal to me are just my non-negotiables now. Like, which is wild because a few years ago, none of them would have been anything in my life. But trying to set boundaries, that's my new one. That's the one I'm working on at the moment. Slowly but surely, we're getting there eventually.
It'll
I'm just a
eventually
people
click.
pleaser and I can't stop it.
It'll all click into place. It's just like anything, like trying to build up these habits. You need to start somewhere, and it is going to be really forced at first, and you're going to put a lot of thought behind, really focus on it. But I mean, you've witnessed it yourself. You do it that much that it becomes, you do it without even thinking about it.
That's just second nature now.
100%, 100%. Anything else that you do in the daily that keeps you pushing forwards?
I'm very boring gal. Like literally, it's just fuel myself, walk and gym, and play with Milo and go to bed. That's about the height of my life.
Not
I am
boring,
no. Hmm?
simple. Not boring, simple.
That's it. It's simple life, the way I want to be.
But I'm here for it. Kyle, talk me.
Mate,
Your turn.
I think it's for me it's a weird one because I've dug very deep into this over the last couple of weeks and months. I think just going through the anxious kind of semi-depressed version of myself very much had to double down on some of the things there and actually a lot of life questionings happening. So for myself, it's a quite a weird one. I actually enjoy having problems, but I mean like I went from the last couple of weeks and months going from feeling like nothing. I don't know if you've ever seen the film Equilibrium with Christian Bale, where like they give them pills that they need to take where they don't feel a thing. And it's like it's a weird feeling for anybody who's ever had it, but it's like you don't feel anything about anything a lot of the time. It's just like you're so impartial to things. And I was literally going, I could be told I won the lottery right now. I mean this with no exaggeration, and wouldn't be happy with that. I wouldn't feel a thing because right now I'm just off anything. But digging deeper into it is because I was chasing a lot of things that I probably leveraged in too much of a direction. So I've had to really delve deep into what does make me happy to get me back feeling good again. So the answer probably is I enjoy having problems. I think a lot of the time we think we shouldn't have problems, and I'm like, I enjoy, like AJ said, working towards a goal. And then sometimes you work towards a goal and actually realize it's not what you wanted in the first place. But I enjoy doing the daily habits that get you towards that. But I think I've also got the personality. I might dive too deep into that where I'll chase something so much it becomes overly consuming. So for me to stay grounded, I think having like Rocky in the morning, just actually having half an hour where I'll make breakfast. I'll probably, just going to say, without sounding overly weird about it, I'll give Rocky a few wee strokes and then it'll just be yeah, I'll probably get that clipped. But and then just going a bit of a walk, listen to a podcast. I think for me, like listing out the things that are there is like I need to go to the gym. For me, 3 times a week is really my kind of what keeps me moving, keeps me right. And a lot of the things I probably was neglecting, I'm not ashamed to say it, is actually probably spending time with Jen and like Finn, just actually watching a film and doing nothing without feeling the pressure of having to do things all the time. So those things all make me happy. But even like, I think it's when you prioritize them, like going watching a film undistracted. So I often would find that really difficult to do, and there wasn't any. I'd actually get annoyed at how I couldn't find happiness in it. Whereas I'm like, I actually now need to create those boundaries by again putting my phone and watch in a drawer somewhere. I didn't quite know that you could put your watch and do not disturb, so I found that out recently. The drawer doesn't need to happen anymore, but it's quite nice actually not having notifications on, just to be able to sit and watch it. And to be fair, 90s movies bang. So we're going through all our 90s movies at the moment. I think playing football, things like that are things that kind of help. Even just playing a video game, like something I've neglected because I'm like, oh, I'm an adult, I've not got time to do that anymore. And like it probably was giving me a bit of anxiety, just realizing like I've got Zelda tattoos and stuff on me, and I'm like, I don't actually. I've got a new Zelda game. Say new, it's fucking old now, but I've not even played it properly, and I'm like, that's really not what life is about. So I think for me, it's solving problems to a large extent, but also making sure that you do appreciate and take time to slow down a little bit. I think slowing down is a big thing as well.
Definitely. I was going to say that to you there, like you are a massive problem solver, and it's something that you've been for many, many years. And I think you panic when you don't have problems to solve, and it gives you that wee bit of fulfillment when you do help people solve their problems. It makes you feel happy. It gives you that wee kind of dopamine hit. But yeah, like with regards to the, just playing games and stuff like that as well, like it's hard to get out of that mindset once you're already in it. I'm too old for this. I've got so much stuff to do. You feel like you're kind of always chasing your tail. You feel guilty for taking time to yourself to, do the things that you want to do, because in the back of your mind, and I think we're quite similar in this as well. Like in the back of our minds, like we're always worried about other people's problems, whether that be clients, whether that be family, whether that be friends. We're always worried about them and what we can do to help them. So we feel guilty for taking that time for ourselves. Does that make sense?
100%, mate. The most in trouble I've ever been is when I don't have problems. Like, because I'll create problems. I'll start to look at things that shouldn't be problems. I'm like, I'll start creating problems for myself. And I think a lot of time I quite enjoy it in a weird way, like where I'm not, if I know I'm not where I want to be, well, I'm like, well, where do I want to be? And at least when I can see that, I'm going, right, cool. Well, that's it. Like, if there's ever a point where, whether it be business, personal, whatever that is, I'm like, if I'm not where I want to be, then that's probably where I'm at my best, because I'm like, I know what that looks like. I think that's it.
Class. Love to hear it, mate.
Right.
Anybody else want to dive in? Sorry.
I was just going to move it on to you, mate, but like if anybody else wants to dive in, give us any words.
Right, anything?
Go on,
Dino.
I want to ask your opinion on something, because I saw somebody make a statement on Instagram this morning, and that statement was, build tolerance to do the things that you don't enjoy. Now, I understand where this person's coming from. Maybe they're talking about discipline and maybe just kind of sucking it up and doing things that you basically have to do that you don't fucking want to do. I have a little bit of a bee in my bonnet with that statement, because what I'm trying to do is learn to love everything that I do, or at least try to see it in a different light that allows me to enjoy things that I might not necessarily feel enjoyable. So I'm more about maybe trying to view things through a different lens, as opposed to just forcing me to do shit that I don't fucking want to do, because that's completely counterintuitive to my happiness. So like, I definitely do believe that there is a strong kind of push on the culture of, the grind culture. You have to be hustling, and if you're not suffering, it's not worth it, and shit like that. But like, that's probably a kind of something that I got caught up in last year, and I felt a ton of pressure to have to do that. Now I've just learned that maybe my capacity for pressure is a little bit lower than everybody else's. So instead of just kind of accepting that, I just try to find more meaning and more enjoyment out of the things that I don't like. But I just don't know how I feel about the whole let's force ourselves to do the things that we don't enjoy. So I'd just like to maybe see what anyone else's opinion is on that.
That's class as well. And I've spoken about this in the podcast before, and one of the most liberating things that I've ever experienced in life is learning to say no to stuff that I don't want to do. I was very similar to yourself, Dean. Like I was a massive people pleaser growing up. I was always trying to force myself to do shit I didn't want to do, and it was making me miserable. So when I don't get me wrong, like it's fucking difficult at first to say no because you almost feel like you're letting the other person down, or you're letting other people down by you saying no. But then the end outcome is you're actually a much happier person. So I agree with you in terms of if you can't find any sort of enjoyment in what you're doing, then I would question it for sure. I mean, don't get me wrong, sometimes we might have to do things that we don't really want to do in life, but if that's like a longer term thing, I would definitely question it. See if it's just over a short period of time, maybe just pushing through something that you might not want to do in that moment. You might actually get to where you want to be off the back end of it. But yeah, if it's for like a longer term thing, if you're forcing yourself to do shit that you don't want to do for 12, 16, 20 weeks, I would 100%, I would question it for sure.
Yeah, I'm dancing with that one. I'm still on the fence of it because like I know maybe what I've said can maybe enable the snowflake culture where it's just like where if something's difficult, no, I don't have to do it because I don't
Yeah.
enjoy it. There is fucking things that we're gonna have to do that we don't enjoy, and
Yeah.
that's part of it. But I think just the heavy push on this whole, if something's not sufferable, it's not worth it. That's definitely when you need to kind of lean in and question, well, is it really fucking worth it? Like if it's
Yeah.
if you're sacrificing your happiness to get the thing that you think makes you happy, is it really worth it?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I feel.
I think I can view that statement through two different lenses. I would probably be the same as you, Dean, where I'm looking at that going, a lot of ways I'm like, you know what, actually we are probably the least resilient fucking generation of all time, and it doesn't take a lot for people just to sink into this comfort of sitting in your four walls. And I wasn't joking when I say earlier, some people don't fucking know what the weather is outside because they don't get out. They just sit watching endless hours of Netflix. The people that say they've not got time are also the ones that can fucking list every TV series that's out there. And in a large extent, I'm like, yes, those people do probably need to do some more uncomfortable things because ironically their comfortability, it comes at a cost. They are going to have areas of their life that they're majorly unhappy at. But on the flip side of that, you're also going to have, there are a lot of things in this generation that we have to do that we don't want to do, that we're forced upon us. Like, it's very difficult for most people to find purpose in their job roles and what they do on a day-to-day basis. And if you're going to a job 40 hours a week that's fucking soul destroying because you have to do it, you're already consuming a lot of your week on doing things that you don't want to do. It's no wonder people then seek comfort in the other things that they do like to do. So I think there is an element of, yes, you are going to have to do things you don't want to do, but I think with that there needs to be a purpose behind it. Like ideally looking at, right, again, where do you want to be in life and what actions reflect that? Yeah, you might have to, for a better word, suck a bit of dick for a while. Like, but with that, like you will eventually get to where you want to be, providing you're moving the needle. Like AJ done a marathon. Like there'll be points where AJ didn't want to go out and do a fucking long run. I heard about them enough. Like you are going to have to, like Shannon, she's on a bulk at the moment. There will be times where Shannon doesn't feel comfortable doing that and doesn't want to fucking eat above the calories that she has. Like there are going to be points where you're going to have to, if you're wanting something you've not had, there are going to be things that you have to do that you don't want to do. But with that, it doesn't necessarily, like you need to look at everything as a kind of grander scheme. And I don't think just telling people blanketly, you need to build a work capacity and doing things you don't need to do. I don't think that's maybe helpful, but a perspective thing. So I'm torn on it two ways.
I mean, there's making yourself uncomfortable and pushing yourself out of the comfort zone, and then there's being forced to do shit that you do not want to do. So like it's like us having like it's like us as coaches having like a cookie cutter program, and one size fits all. Doesn't matter if you're looking to lose a bit of body fat, build a wee bit of muscle. We just give you that program and we say fucking do it whether you like it or not. What we do as coaches, we try and make it fit into your lifestyle. We try and make it enjoyable. We try and look at it through kind of your eyes to see how we can make it enjoyable for you rather than just kind of forcing it upon you. And it's going to be fucking miserable. Like, you're not going to enjoy it. You're not going to want to go. You're not going to want to get to that kind of 2.0 version of yourself that you're working hard to get to. I'm not for the whole get up and grind and the Gary Vaynerchuk fucking mindset of sleep 4 hours a day and work the other 20 and all that carry on, and forcing yourself to do stuff that you don't enjoy. But yeah, 100% there is going to be moments in your life where you do need to be a bit uncomfortable and do stuff that you maybe don't want to do. But as long as it's for a brief period of time, I think it should be manageable. But with the mindset that you've got, Dean, like trying to find positives in everything you're doing and trying to view it through a different kind of different mindset can definitely help. Are you finding that it's successful? Are you finding it's working for you? Are you still kind of trying to fine tune how you view things differently?
Definitely fine tuning it, because it works on certain aspects. I mean, there's just things that you're not going to find meaning and purpose in at all. Like,
Yeah.
whether that be parts of your job that you absolutely despise, you don't understand why you're doing it, you just can't seem to get satisfaction in it, and that's not going to fucking change. But a big part of my kind of mindset shift this past maybe year or two was giving myself purpose back and giving myself meaning back. And in order to do that, you need to find purpose and you need to find meaning in the things that you do. So that's just been one of my things recently, is just trying to find the deeper purpose and how it can bring meaning back to me personally. But simply, if you can't find meaning or purpose in something, it's going to be fucking so hard to enjoy it.
And always like ask questions as well. Ask as many questions as you can. Ask as many questions as you want. Like, people would have viewed that Instagram post that you've seen and just been like, "Fuck, I just need to get up and go." Whereas you've taken a bit of a step back and thought, "Hold on a fucking minute here," and started asking questions and try to almost kind of simplify it in a way that is going to allow you to get up and go rather than just getting up and going and working yourself into an early grave essentially.
Yeah.
Because you've got that get up and go mindset. You're miserable. You're ploughing on. You've no fulfillment in life. You're not doing anything you want to do. You might be, finding ways that aren't the healthiest to escape from all that, help you forget about it in the moment. So yeah, I definitely think taking a bit of a step back sometimes and just asking questions, it's massive. It can be so powerful when you apply it.
Yeah, like I'm 35 years of age. I'd even go to say I'm happy enough to call myself middle-aged at this point. It's a middle-age crisis, but like, I just want to be happy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm just I've drawn a line in the sand of doing things that just don't make me fucking happy anymore. So it's part of it is just being selfish, but again, it's your responsibility to try and find the happiness in the things that you do as well.
I think you need to be selfish 100% because 9 times out of 10, you're doing things that other people want you to do to make them happy, to give them fulfillment. And then, like I said, it makes you miserable. And this is why I got so much liberation from saying no, because that was me being selfish. And in turn, me being selfish made me a better person. And then it made me be a better person to my nearest and dearest, to Rachel, to Bear, to my friends, my family. So they were actually getting that better version of me as well, because I chose to be selfish. Don't get me wrong, like I'm not a selfish bastard, and I wouldn't, what I mean. I have my limits and stuff like that. But if there's something that I don't think is going to, what's the word I'm looking for here, benefit me, if it's not a short term thing, then I'm definitely going to question it and probably say no.
I think saying yes to something always means saying no to something else, and a lot of time we say yes to whether it be a night out you don't want to go to. We've all been there. Still find that quite difficult at times. Like, again, like being in a relationship, you can whatever, and somebody's like, "Oh, we need to go and do this or do that," and I'm like, I don't fucking particularly want to. Like, and I have got significantly better at it, but I think when things were they're worse for me, I'm not meaning recently, but I think in terms of how I was feeling in terms of like where I was with things, I was probably, if you looked at it, saying yes to a lot of the things that I shouldn't have been saying yes to. And as a byproduct, that was saying no to my own personal time, my ability to decompress and everything else. So I think there's a lot in that in terms of, I don't know if And I think even the people who claim that they're super comfortable with saying no to things, don't think anybody, unless you're a complete psychopath, is completely okay with saying no to absolutely everything. But I think a lot of people, like resistance training, could get better at saying no to some of the things that wouldn't be in their best interest in doing.
100%. Agreed, man.
Right, Gary, outside of fucking Lego sets, mate, what makes us happy?
What makes me happy? Again, I'm a pretty simple man. Every week I love to go and watch a game of football. Don't care if it's Rangers, don't care if it's Polk. I just love to go and watch a game of football. That 2 hours that I'm in the stadium or the ground, that's a massive decompressor for me. It helps me switch off. I usually my phone goes in the pocket and I don't look at it unless I'm taking a wee photo from Instagram stories. So yeah, game of football every week. I This one's simple as well. But see coming home from the gym, obviously Tuesday through Thursday I'm working late on in the gym. See coming home after working in the gym and knowing I've not got any more work to do for the day and just being able to sit on the couch and put my feet up, stick the office on Netflix and just kind of zone out. Like that makes me happy as well. I don't get to do that very often just now because of my poor time management, but it is definitely something that I'm working to try and fix. And yeah, just getting out and about, man. Like, obviously I lived in a van for 2.5 years in Canada, and see waking up in the middle of a rainforest or waking up next to a lake or waking up next to the ocean, like that was fucking incredible. And it's something that I miss every single day because now, obviously, I'm back to reality, back to working full time, trying to build a business up. But that is my long term goal to do something like that again because I've never felt happiness like I did when I was just out in nature for 2.5 years, shitting in the woods. Like it was absolutely incredible. Like, so yeah, just simple things like Lego. Obviously, building Lego sets. I cannot wait to get into that once this room's sorted. You can see we've got a couple of wee bits of paint on the wall as well. So we're painting this weekend. So I'm hoping to have everything sorted by next week. So yeah, just I think that's probably the main things. In fact, no, I would also say especially with my nephew. He's absolutely bonkers. Both of my nephews actually, the two of them are mental. So yeah, just seeing them run about and trying to be that fun uncle and trying to just act like a big kid. I would probably say acting like a big kid makes me happy too. I don't want to grow up. Mentally, I know I need to, but physically, no, physically, sorry, I know I need to, but mentally, I really don't want to.
I love that what you said about like Canada and being super happy. I don't know if it was just shitting outdoors that was your thing, mate, but I think what's a good exercise for a lot of people to do is like we've all, to a large extent, I'd imagine, been happy at a certain point in our life or in flow or doing things that like just fit life was good. And I would always go back to like what were the habits that you were taking on at that point? What did life look like? What were you doing? And there's a lot to be said. There's usually no, like, it's like success leaves clues. There will be things in there that you were doing. Now, I'm not saying like you need to go and move country to Canada and stuff, but like it could be like this time last year, I was in Bali with Jen. We were having a great time. Probably the most relaxed I've ever felt. Now, I'm in Ireland and it's very different to Bali. But at the same time, there's a lot to be said in there in the sense that, like, was it the fact that we were in Bali and there was the sun and we're drinking like fucking coconut water? Or was it the fact that like we actually probably were enjoying more of a lie-in, spending a bit more time with each other and didn't have the stresses of work a lot of time? And whilst I can't replicate that on a daily basis, is that something we can bring a little bit more into our lives right now? And I think simple things like that.
100%. I think mine's the good time that I had in Canada had a lot to do with the amount of weed I was smoking and mushrooms I was taking. So that's probably got a part to play in it as well. But yeah, just being outside for me, like I love doing Monroes and stuff here as well. I love getting out in the hills. I love going hiking. My knees don't enjoy it, but mentally it puts me in such a good place. And that's definitely something that that I can bring home with me from Canada. I can bring home the hiking. I can bring home the adventure. Maybe not so much just now because I've got a donut around my dog's neck. So when he's a bit better, we can do a wee bit of driving. But Yeah, I agree with you, man. Like look at the small things and see if you can apply them to your your personal life, your home life, and see if you can, because everybody's always happy on holiday. Is it the escape? Is it because you're away from home life, or is it because you're actually enjoying what you're doing? You know what I
100%.
mean? Right, I know we need to wrap this up very, very soon. Does anybody else want to dive in with anything that they want to share with the listeners, or any questions that you've got?
Just for context
Everybody
on
else.
that, I do have a wee bit of time, so we don't need to wrap up just yet. So if anybody does want to take a bit of a tangent, you absolutely can. So don't be shy if you do want to add anything on.
I've not spoken about non-negotiables for me yet, so I'll dive into that quickly.
Fuck, attention-seeking cunt. Yeah, yeah, mate. On you go. Yeah,
Oh, I'll just log it right now.
Just give me
See
a
to
call
be,
when you need me to come back in. I'm gonna pop off here.
are you going away?
just because
You're a
you're
prick.
talking, mate.
My non-negotiables from today forward is to be abuse AJ on his Instagram page to make myself feel better.
Just only do it
Like,
between 8 and 8 or you won't get a response.
yeah, my right now my non-negotiables are all tits up just because of the house move and carry on going on with Ben and stuff. But beforehand, before we moved house, it was always 10K steps a day minimum, 2.5 liters of water every day minimum. Kyle, you actually got me into a very, very solid routine of waking up in the morning, getting a pint of water in immediately, and then by dinner time, I was already kind of 2.5 liters of water down, rather than trying to kind of backload the water and trying to get it in before bed. I wasn't putting salt in it, Dean, so I was up pissing the whole night. But yeah, like right now it is all a bit kind of ski whiff, and I don't know if you guys in Ireland know that word,
No.
ski, all over the place.
No.
Um,
What the fuck? Is he having a stroke?
I didn't know that was I didn't even know that was a Scottish one. I didn't even think twice about that. But yeah, that's good to know.
I we hear it all the time. But yeah, it's definitely something that I need to work on. Sorry, I need to stop that vaping. I've stopped it, by the way. I'm joking. I was just having a wee bit of a cough. So it's definitely something I need to work on going forward, because yeah, you have inspired me. Just chatting with you this morning, because you all have you have your non-negotiables in place. You have your things that make you happy, and it is simple things that make you happy. And I think I got caught up in what I was talking about at the start of the program. I've got so lost in what's going on round about me, and work's taking over. And Rachel's actually saying to me in the evenings, like 9:30 at night, and I'm on my phone. I've booted up the laptop, and she's like, "I thought you were done for the day." And it's completely my fault, because like I said again, like poor time management. So I hope the listeners get as much out of this episode as what I've got out of it, because yeah, you guys have really, really inspired me to give myself a kick up the arse, and kind of relight that fire in my belly to push myself to where I want to be, because I know it's fucking shite for me right now. It's shite for Rachel. So I appreciate you all popping on and sharing everything you're up to. Yeah, even if the listeners don't get a lot out of it, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Enjoyed that, mate. I was going to say I've now filled my pint glass with salty tears again, just recycling it after that.
There we go. Get it, didn't you?
Didn't we? Hold on, give us a wee
Do you
second.
feel energized?
I'll do it like the suicide shot, mate, just in the eye.
I actually, I was on a retreat a few weeks ago, and I think I was known as the saltwater guy because all I talked about was salt water, and I don't want this to continue on, so I'm putting the line in the sand now. I'm not talking about salt water anymore.
Dean,
Just
if I'm the Weller man,
water boy.
I'm the Weller man, you're the saltwater guy. Happy days.
Fantastic. Listen, guys, is there anything else? We'll just open the table up. Is there anything else that you want to talk about, you want to cover, you maybe want to just share with anybody? Hopefully my wee motivational and inspirational talk there is inspired you to maybe say something. But if not, don't feel pressured into it.
One key takeaway that I've actually taken from this conversation is something Kyle said recently, is like, I can absolutely agree that being on holiday mode is the fucking best time ever. It's more than likely when we're at our most happiness. But like, is it the kind of couple of drinks? Is it the date nights? Is it the eating out? Is it the relaxing? Is it the lions? Can we replicate that more in our real lives, as opposed to just kind of putting it up on a pedestal and living for that 1 week or the 2 weeks a year that we actually do it. That's absolutely a really good point, is just trying to replicate those things that make you happy, where you just feel like it's the environment that's making you happy, but is it the actual actionables that you're doing that's causing that happiness? So that's something I'm definitely going to reflect on.
100%, I agree with that as well. Something I'm going to look at, and you're right, can we replicate it in our everyday life, and strive for that happiness that we seem to find when we are on holiday? Because you know what it's like, everybody works their arses off for 50 weeks a year, and then they take the 2 weeks holiday, and I mean, I guess it is almost like an escape, but if it makes you happy, then why not do that more? Do what makes you happy, man.
I've noticed a massive change with the last 3-4 months where I have that cut-off point, where I'm not walking past a certain point, and I haven't been on holidays in maybe proper holidays for more than a couple of days in 2 or 3 years. And yeah, it is refreshing, it is relaxing, and I'm sort of replicating that sitting back, relaxing, not doing anything thing every day now. I don't need the holiday. I'm not going to say no to one, but I don't need to get away to feel like I'm relaxed. I don't need to get away to feel like I'm getting a break. I get a break at home just by being strict with that.
Creating the life you want, or what is it? Creating the life that you don't feel the need to escape from.
Yeah.
Magic.
Hang it up in the Louvre. That is absolutely tremendous. I love that. Kyle, anything to add, mate?
No. Loved all of that. I think the only probably takeaway that I would try and leave at the end of it is sometimes when you try these new things, don't worry if it doesn't work for you, but try them anyway. And sometimes it can be like, if you're on holiday, you're sleeping in until 12 o'clock and you want to try and replicate that. That might work for you, but it might not. But it doesn't necessarily need to be that. Could be maybe try and sleep in an hour more. Could be maybe utilize their weekends a little bit better. If it's the fact that like cutting off caffeine isn't working for you, then that's fine. But like just try new things and see what works. Like Gary, there might be, I buried myself with the same thing. I can hard relate to what you said about you and Rachel at 9:30 at night. I probably gave myself more stress and anxiety trying to have certain cut-off times of like not working past 6 o'clock. I work in an industry where I work with office workers. The only time they can take a call is after 6. So whilst I could get to the point where I don't take a call past 6, like realistically, there's going to have to be times. I think it's about me maybe not going, right, I'm not taking a call past 6, but maybe having the conversation of, right, on Thursday nights or Wednesday nights, I take a call and I open up my diary, but that's the only night I do it or whatever. That becomes a lot easier. But I think it's a fucking about and finding out. Find what works for you, give it a go. And if it's not perfect, that's fine. But what was better about it? Like, try and refine it constantly.
Yeah. I think the fear of failure stops people from trying new things as well. People panic that they are going to fail at the new thing that they're trying. But yeah, use it as a learning curve. You're never going to know until you try it.
Yeah.
Life is just a big game of trial and error until you find what you enjoy and find what works best for you and then making it stick.
100%. Right, guys, we are going to wrap this up now. I think it's been very productive and hopefully a lot of value there for the listeners. I'm just going to go in the order of people that I can see and where we can find them. So, Shannon, where can people find you?
At Shan_biofitness.
Class. That's Instagram. AJ, where can people find
Yes, that's the one. I need my second coffee now.
AJ, where can people find you?
They can find me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all under AJ_FFG Fit. That's new for anyone who used to listen to the podcast with me.
Dean, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at mentalfitnesslad.
Class. Gary, where can people find you?
At GMAC_health and fitness on Instagram. Kyle, where can people find you, mate?
Kyle_biofitness1. I always struggle with saying that for some reason.
Mate, every week you sound less and less sure that is your actual Instagram handle.
Mate, it's because I'm still got some of my stuff that says biofitness88. Like my Google Drive and stuff still says that, and I get the fear sometimes that I've got it wrong. But we're here. That's fine. That's where you can find us all. If you're not already following us, get it done. That's a bet.
Don't worry if you missed any of the Instagram handles. I will post them below the episode on Spotify and on YouTube so you can get a direct link to everybody's Instagram page.
Class, thank you and bye-bye.